delegations. Is there anyone who would like to make any changes to that? And I understand there are 2 additional unregistered delegations. If I understood that correctly.
Recording in progress.
Yes. Yes, Chair, that's correct. We have some unregistered delegations.
Okay, great. So would someone like to move the agenda? Trying to see. Okay, Director Lennox, Director Brander, is there any discussion on that? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? None opposed. Motion carried. Okay, so our first delegation is Tom Reed, the president and Seneca Anthony, Texada Agricultural Group. So the floor is yours, Seneca and Tom, and you have 10 minutes, and then we'll have some opportunity for questions.
I'm trying to go.
Can you get the video?
Hold on, it's fighting me. Why is it fighting me? It wasn't fighting me 2 seconds ago.
We can hear you. We just can't see you.
Okay.
Do you need to see us? Do you want to see us? Let me see. I don't know.
There's not much to see.
There's not much to see. We're not that beautiful.
I'll just jump in. We have 10 minutes and let's get going. I'm Tom Reed, and Seneca is going to, we're going to share this presentation. I'll start and she'll finish. The project that we're asking for funding on is our full pantry initiative, which is part of our food security group that we're doing. And to bring you up to speed from last year, hello? Okay, from last year, we did get a federal grant last. I'm sorry. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, that was my internet reconnecting. Sorry about that.
All right, so the main point I wanted to make is we're trying to leverage that federal grant to cover expenses that were ineligible under that grant. And this is all in the proposal that you should have in front of you. And what we're doing with our presentation today is just highlighting a few things. So we want to leverage that. And then we also had some outreach expenses and operating expenses as a result of this grant, so that aren't covered by that. So what we're asking you for today will actually accomplish everything and meet our goal of beginning this service with our 5 new freeze dryers that we've acquired, beginning that in September. So I'd like to just say that's kind of the key message, but I also want to mention something else, and that is just coming back to why food security is so important. I can't just assume everybody knows that, but there's 3 basic reasons that we see. The first is a fairly obvious one, that we are vulnerable in qathet. We get basically, there's been a figure used over the years of 97% of our food is imported. That's come from a number of reports going back 14 years. I don't know how to verify that number, but we know it's a lot. And anecdotally, almost all of that food comes through the barge terminal at the city harbor. It's not on the ferries. Those barges carry many trucks worth of food. And if you put all that on the ferries, there wouldn't be a lot of room for other people. So it comes in through the barge and gets distributed around the region. Some of it, of course, comes in on trucks from Vancouver Island, but that's not most of it. So we have some vulnerability, and we want to improve our local food security by doing more food preservation, which is often overlooked in favor of production. Secondly, there's a matter of quality. What you import might not be the best quality, but locally we're capable of producing some very high quality food here. And thirdly, it's affordability, and I want to speak about that next. Affordability is, and when it comes to food, is looked at different ways. There's University of Guelph experts on food security advocate giving people more money with which to buy food. What food security problem? It's a money problem. That's what they say. Another way to approach affordability is that you see governments do is put price caps on food. That's not likely to happen. In fact, neither one of those things are likely to happen. So what we see is currently in the food system, the industrial food system, the middleman takes most of the money. They get it. The farmers get much less. So what we're trying to do here is kind of go around the middleman and go get more households to be more responsible for their own food supply. And I know this, going one household at a time seems like it's not to scale, but it does add up over time. So by focusing on food preservation and freeze drying, which Seneca is going to tell you why we chose that, we think that will make a dent in food security over time. There's a couple of other things too. Once we take more responsibility for our own food supply, we achieve some price stabilization. We're not subject to every global oil price spike or anything like that. We can get around that by sticking with what we can produce locally using our own fertility program here. And with that, I'll turn it over to Seneca.
Okay, so you can go to the next slide for me. So some other benefits that will come from this project is that
you want additional benefits. This is
I don't. Could you go to the next slide for me? If they can hear me. There's more. The food hub is located in the school, and you want to go up a bit? You want to do that? Up one more. Oh, perfect. The youth from the school, actually the school district wide, should have access, will have access to this for education. Then they can become more familiar with food security, with storing their own, with having a full pantry, rotating it, bring that home to their families, and bring that into their adult lives. Also, we have already had at the hub, and we will definitely have more with these freeze dryers, entrepreneurs, people who want to do businesses. We've had some slightly interesting ideas come forward that you're like, oh, I wonder if that'll work. But people can try them in an environment where they don't have to cough up all that upfront cost themselves and see what works. And then maybe they can take that technology and leverage that and buy their own, or it's a way for people to experiment.
Isn't that how you got into freeze drying?
That is exactly. Anyway, and emergency food supply, which is, fairly self-explanatory. It doesn't need to be refrigerated. It doesn't need to be frozen. People can have their own stocks for power outages, for ferry outages, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to go to the next slide. My family tried freeze drying at the hub because there was one freeze dryer there. It's no longer there. But we tried it in, I think it was about 2019. And we were like, okay, we need to do more of this because it solved so many problems that we had, because we farm and you have excess of something. And then what do you do with it? You freeze it, it gets lost in the freezer, it gets freezer burned, yada, yada. Like it solves all of those problems. You can store something and it stays just as nice as the day you picked it. And then in the depths of winter, you're like, oh, I have squash, I have beans, I have these things that you can kind of bring the summer into the time when you don't have it. So it's awesome technology. It's amazing, and more people should have access to it. Okay, so you want to give me the last slide there. So in conclusion, whenever you get to the last slide, our little timeline, I'll start at the bottom. So our little timeline is we want to have this project fully implemented by the fall, so people can take advantage of all the stuff they harvest in the fall, and they can just dive right into it. So we want to have some people educated. We want to have this program rolling by the fall. Our equipment is on the way right now, and we want to really be able to fully set it all up and get it going. So TAG's been around doing the food hub since 2012. So we're very stable, and it's we can deliver this for a long term. We have dedicated volunteers. We are we know what we're doing, more or less. And we're gonna learn along the way, anything we don't know. And we're here asking for the $12,491 for those ineligible expenses from that large grant that we got, and we hope to get from other industry partners as well, so that we can fully implement this and breathe easily, and we can provide that to everyone equally. Like with low income, we're not going to be having to try to extract money from people, and that we can have food security equally for everyone. Thanks. I think that's all we got.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Are there questions from the board? I see Director McCormick. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Really interesting presentation. Thank you very much for that. My questions are, can anything be freeze-dried?
Yes.
And what's the shelf life?
The shelf life is about 30 years. And what was your first part of your question? Sorry, you cut out.
Yeah, sorry, technology is not our friend today.
No.
Can anything be freeze-dried? Anything from meat to fish to cheese to mushrooms to whatever?
Yes, pretty much anything. Some things, it's a little bit of a learning curve. Some things are better than others. We freeze-dried rhubarb juice, and that was terrible. That was the worst thing. It tasted like some kind of extreme, like, challenge sour candy. Do not recommend. But most things freeze dry really well, and pretty much anything can freeze dry except for like butter. Like fat, it doesn't, because it doesn't have any moisture in it. So then it doesn't preserve like that. But meals, fish, yeah, you can freeze dry pretty much anything you can imagine.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there Director Lennox?
Thanks, Chair. Thanks for your presentation. You know, we're always looking at different grants, and I think you explained it quite well. That like a lot of grants, there's a federal one here, the LFIF grant, and that there's a gap that isn't provided by those grants. So what is the LFIF grant, please? What program is that?
Okay, that's from Agriculture and Food Canada, and it stands for Local Food Infrastructure Fund, LFIF. So, and this is the small projects part of the LFIF. They have a larger projects one. When they say small projects, they mean they would entertain proposals up to 125,000, and our proposal was 117,000, and we were granted 88,000. They took off for the sales tax on equipment and an air conditioner, a window mounted air conditioner.
And there was no for like education and stuff like that. It's infrastructure only. So to get the freeze dryers is one thing, but then to get the people and the freeze dryers to work together, you need a bit of funding for that.
Yeah, and LFIF has been around for several years and has a future. So this is a well-known program.
Okay, thanks for that.
Great, thank you. Are there any other questions? With that, I will thank you for your presentation, and we will be considering applications at a future meeting, probably the next Finance Committee meeting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. Okay, our second delegation is from Nicky Burnett, Secretary of Four Tides Hospice Society. Ms. Burnett, I believe you're in the audience, so staff will help you come forward, and you'll have 10 minutes to present to us and then questions.
Next on the move through your slides.
Okay. Great, thank you. Hi, everyone. Should I start? My name is Nicky Burnett. I'm with the Four Tides Hospice Society. Thank you very much for having us here today and considering our proposal. I'm on the board of directors as secretary. Our two staff members unfortunately couldn't be here today, so I'll do my best to present this instead. So what we're seeking funding for is help running some of the fantastic programming that we do. Four Tides Hospice Society seeks to address grief and bereavement in our community and to support people who are in their end-of-life journeys. I'm a registered nurse working in palliative care, and so the society is very close and near to my heart, and I know that it affects every single member of our qathet community, from Texada Island, where we operate services, Cohaman Nation, as well as all throughout the rest of qathet as well. So it's something that, of course, all of us go through, and our programming does our very best to look after everyone within it. So we're a registered society. powered by volunteers in our community. We're also growing at a really rapid pace. So we've gone from 200 to over 300 referrals each year, addressing people who are at the end of their life and their community members that are supporting them, including their family and friends. We receive no actual government funding for our services, so it's all based on fundraising and grants. So that's a lot to worry about. We've hired some new staff to address our growing needs, and also as we start to transition and build momentum towards maybe eventually a hospice house in the next couple of years. So yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the programming that this grant would help support over the next couple of years. So our philosophy is we're centered on supporting the social, emotional, spiritual being of those who are dying and their families and their caregivers. We recognize that dying is a normal part of living, and our supports supplement medical care. So we're focused more on holistic care. As a nurse, I see that we do our very best along with our physician colleagues and other allied health colleagues to address the medical aspects of dying, but it leaves a big gap where it comes to the holistic emotional sides of it. And that's where the Four Tides Hospice Society does a really good job of filling those gaps with people at the end of life, as well as people who are caregivers for them. And it's confidential and it's free to everyone in the qathet community. So yeah, this year we've gone well over 300 referrals, and we continue to increase at a fairly rapid pace. We offer 98, almost 100 group offerings every year. So these look like group offerings. These look like caregiver groups, the walking support caregiver group, group for complicated grief. We also support clients at the end of their lives. We support caregivers, and we support the bereaved. We receive referrals from all over the community. These can be from clients, caregivers, healthcare providers, so GPs, specialists, home nurses, the emergency department, and other places. And we have over 50 volunteers that we go through and train, and it's an extensive several week long process. Many hours go into it. And that's done we have right now only 2 staff members that put all of this on. We also put on regional advanced care planning workshops several times a year as well. So we're a part of the community. We're always out and about, trying our very best to advocate for care of the people who are at end of life and addressing grief in the community. So some of our programming that runs, we have the volunteer visiting program. So people who are at end of life can get a trained volunteer for free that comes to their house and speaks with them and talks about their end of life journey, helps them to create and visualize what end of life is going to be, and offer personalized support in that emotional, holistic way. This can be done in people's homes as well as over the phone. It can be done via Zoom, and it allows people a little bit of time to reflect on the end of their life and to hopefully feel support in those times of need. It also allows caregivers a bit of a respite break. So if someone needs to go out and maybe that caregiver wants to just go for a walk, then the volunteer will sit with the loved one who's facing end of life, and can go for a much needed just break to have a breath and kind of reset, because it's a very exhausting emotional journey to care for someone at the end of life. Our caregiving support groups, so we have individual one-to-one in the home over the phone. We have group settings. So we've got various group settings for people who are bereaved, as well as a grief walking group at the Sea Walk that runs. And then, like I mentioned, the advanced care planning workshops that we support in the community, up to 4 a year, as well as some annual memorial events, like the Celebrate a Life Christmas tree event that happens in the mall, and the Memento Mori that happens in the fall. We continue to work towards building a hospice house in qathet. It's something that we've been making a lot of progress on recently. Our society is growing, and the more grants that we can receive that help look after our basic stability of our programming, the more focus that we can put on towards moving forward with this hospice house. Our board is really passionate about moving that project ahead, but our core thing is to keep our programming stable because it makes such a difference in our community right now. So yeah, our website's up there. It's got lots of good information on it. I think that, and there's some of our contact information. That is the majority of what I wanted to say today. So I think I'll finish a little bit early and move on to questions if anyone has any.
Thank you very much. Does anyone around the committee have any questions for our delegate? Director Southcott, go ahead.
Chair, thank you very much. Been following hospice since kind of before it really started here. And I was amazed how early on in its history, within 2 or 3 years of serving, 25% of people departing. And your numbers have only increased since then. Obviously, this is something that is, I really personally am delighted to see our culture changing to embrace what hospice does. My question has to do with grief. Personally, and having a background that has been served very well by utilizing grief as a tool, I'm curious in how, is there training for, are you training people who are going through the process of needing the service? Or is this specifically like how is grief, is it evolving in what's being offered through Fort Heights Hospice?
Yeah, absolutely. We have an amazing employee, Anna Byrne, who is an expert in grief and has a lot of personal relation to it as well. And so she runs our volunteer training program. I believe it's a 6-week training program, and they're long days, like 8-hour days. And so there's a big emphasis on grief and about kind of that like community sharing of grief, because grief is such an individual process. But in these community groups that we facilitate, you can usually relate to other people and then kind of share in grief and understand it a little bit deeper. So that's really embedded within a lot of the programming. We're so lucky to have Anna as a part of it as well too.
Know her. So it is group work that that's a large part of the focus of the work that you're doing.
Yeah, a lot of the programs are a group. For some people, they really do care about an individual one. So we offer both, but we do run group grief programs throughout the year as well. But for people where maybe they don't feel ready to go on to a group, they want to be more personal with it, it can be individual as well based. And I know as my day role as a nurse, I'm constantly referring to Fort Heights Hospice Society because there isn't anything in our like medical system that really like addresses that. It's one-off counseling, but it's not the same level that Fort Heights is, and it's just not valued as much, it seems like, in our medical system. So it's nice to have these organizations that are community driven for the community, yeah, really focused at like what this community needs.
We're really cutting a vanguard edge for more conventional practices to follow.
Yeah.
That's just totally wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Are there any other questions from the committee? Seeing no one with their hand up, I want to thank you for your presentation. It was very good, and we'll consider your application in an upcoming meeting.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Our third now, maybe I didn't understand something about the dragon boat. Maybe Rebecca can help with this. Is it Katie Souls that's in the audience there?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, so next up, Katie Souls. I'm gonna hang up my phone.
Okay, Director Fall, I had just muted you. Chair Fall, so if you could unmute yourself.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry, I had my phone on. My internet seems okay now, so I will try that phone in if needed. So Ms. Souls, Texada Island Dragon Boat Club. You have 10 minutes to present to us, and then we'll have some questions. Floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and it's wonderful to be here on behalf of the Texada Island Dragon Boat Club. We read about the regional district all the time, and we hear about decisions, so to be actually here is a real privilege, so thank you very much. We are here today, like all of the people on the agenda, to apply for something that we think is essential. And it sounds sort of basic, but it is essential for us. And that's a trailer for our 10-person dragon boat. We're seeking a grant of $1,800, which is a portion of the total cost of a trailer. And it's a single piece of equipment that really determines whether we can launch the boat or not. Our dock configuration is such that we can't leave our boat in the water. So we have to launch each and every time. And so no trailer means no paddling. And we'll get into this a little bit more later. Who we are, we've been in operation for 8 years. We're a community group that's joined for fitness, for friendship, for fun. We are active 8 years. We formed in 2018, and a shout out to the Powell River Paddlers for Life. They were instrumental in getting us up and running. And as a regional district, I'm sure you've heard about the regional cooperation of the various dragon boat communities. They lend us boats, we lend them paddles. Everything is a really good cooperation between different groups. There's about 35 active paddlers, and we have two dragon boats. One dragon boat is for up to 20, but being a smaller club, we often don't get 20. So we need a smaller boat for those days when there's 8 to 10. And so that's what we need, and it makes it accessible for the whole community. We really believe in inclusivity and in giving back to the community. So our group ranges from ages 20 to 80. We have breast cancer survivors, we have veterans who are working through PTSD, we have intellectually disabled people and newcomers to the island. Everyone is welcome in the boat, and we really cherish the opportunity to share that experience with them. And the bonds that we create on the water in a community of 1,000 people certainly then extend to throughout the community. And we really do believe in giving back to the community. This is, maybe some of you have heard of the Sandcastle weekend. This is the Sandcastle parade that we're in. And we give back to the community in fun ways, but we also ask from the community through our fundraising. And we have everything from community dinners to basket draws to selling items at Christmas craft markets. So we ask, and we do give back. One of the ways we're giving back this year is the Dragon Club is hosting a Canada Day celebration that's going to be a lot of fun, and it's just an example of how we like to share things with the community. Going back to why a trailer is essential, I just got back from a dragon boat camp in Salmon Arm, and they get to keep their boats in the water the whole time. So all you do is you walk down to the boat, you jump in, and off you go. Many of us have had to learn how to back up with a trailer to launch this boat. And so you can see that the boat, which is on the bottom, is on a trailer, and we need to launch it every single time. And so if we don't have a trailer, we can't launch, and the community loses its opportunity to paddle that night. And we're really serious. We took backing up lessons all winter to learn how to launch those trailers. So this was us in the parade, but our ask is $1,800 that goes towards a $7,200 trailer. It would give us full season access to our boat, continued recreation for all of us that are participant, and really help with the sustained community programming on Texada Island. So thank you very much for considering our application. Any questions?
Thank you for the presentation. Are there any questions from around the Dr. Lennox? Go ahead.
Thanks, Chair, and thanks for your presentation. You answered some of the questions I had, but I was wondering, like, who makes dragon boat trailer. So like, where do you find such a thing? Is it a custom thing, or do you just order one off of Amazon, or how not?
From the Dragon Boat Trailer Factory.
Yeah.
It's
Where does
because
it
dragon boating is so popular. There's places that specialize in boat hauling, boat trailers, and those sorts of things. So it would be from there. This would be a second or maybe third hand trailer. So we're not buying new. It's an interesting culture in the dragon boat community because, say for example, boats on Powell River, the Paddles for Life gave us their first boat so we could start, and then we bought better boats, and now we're giving one of our boats to another club. And the same will probably very much pay it forward, and the same will likely happen. Unfortunately, it did not happen with the trailer. we have to buy that trailer. We've got another trailer for our large boat, and it needed repairs, but we got a significant portion of the repairs for the large boat trailer donated, and so we had a local welder who they typically run when they see us coming, but they help.
That's
Yeah. You can imagine, yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Great. So is there anyone else who has a question? Director McCormick.
Yeah, thank you. And I really enjoyed your presentation. So thank you for that. And so as well as the season of good weather when you're out there boating, do you not do a fitness program as well in the winter time?
Yes.
Pickleball or something like that?
Thanks, Director McCormick. We paddle in the season, which depending on weather starts usually the 1st of May and extends until race season, which is the end of September. And we go to various races with our trailers. And in the winter, we play pickleball in the school and have, of course, and have exercise programs as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. I don't see any other hands up, but I'll thank you for the interesting presentation, and we'll consider your application in a future meeting.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. And I looking at the agenda, you've got several compelling requests, and I wish you well in your deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's always a challenge, and it's really good to hear from organizations like yours and others. Okay, so our fourth presentation is Melinda Auerbach, a committee chair from the Lasqueti Community Association. And I believe Ms. Auerbach's joining us remotely. When she gets going on that, there she is. The floor is yours, Ms. Auerbach. You have 10 minutes, and then we may have some questions for you.
Well, thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks so much for this opportunity. The Lasqueti Community Association was established in 1971. It's been ongoing all that time. And one of the main reasons it was established was to try to build a community hall. And so back in 1971, they got a LIP grant, which some of you may remember from way back when, to build a community hall. And we got the foundations were put together. And then about 7 years later, in 1977 or 78, we actually started building the hall. And that was totally volunteer donations, materials, money. And we got the hall up and running, and it's been running continuously since that time. And it's used a lot in this community. Some of you directors have actually come to Lasqueti and had regional director meetings in that hall. And it is a well-used building, and therefore it does need some ongoing major renovations. And over the last, since 2022, the Lasqueti Community Association, through the Hall Building Committee, has had a strategic plan, and we've done some major renovations in terms of making it a much warmer space through insulating the floor and the attic, and through a joint effort with the Fire Smart program through the regional district. We got metal skirting around the hall to make it more fire safe. And then just a little more than a year and a half ago, we did a very major kitchen renovation, which was entirely financed through donations, and of course, in all these endeavors, there's the main part of the labor work is all volunteer. And so today, what I'm asking you for is $5,000 to go towards the last item on that strategic plan that we developed. We have a small room that we call the meeting room, and it's a place where people can have some activities, small group activities or meetings. And that room, the meeting room, its floor needs some major attention in that it was an add-on after the major part of the hall was built. And now the foundations it is sitting on, they are slowly sinking into the ground. And so we need to do some very remedial work on those bottom foundations. We need new piers and some joists. And it's also going to entail doing some re-siding on the outside because there's been major rot occurring now with that siding. And we've looked into what it's going to take to do this. And our request to you for $5,000 will be matched by funds from the Lasqueti Community Association in the amount of $5,000. And our volunteer labor, of course, will match all those amounts as well. We're really lucky that way. And just to let you know, that we just have a minimum of 20 or 30 events that go on throughout the year, either weekly, monthly, annually. It is a well-used and cherished building. It's entirely owned by the Lasqueti Community Association. We come up with everything that's required to keep it running through our rentals and our fundraising. And I would ask you to consider our application kindly.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Auerbach. Does anyone have any questions besides myself? 'Cause I'll ask a question, but if I don't see anyone else raise their hand, so I'll ask a question just for clarification. I assume this is the what's called the alcove. Maybe for the benefit of the committee, the question is, what other things happen? I mean, I know I've used it for meetings. It's you can enter in, you can close it off a bit. There's a stove there, but is it used for? It's called the meeting room, but is it what else is it used for?
Well, there are small groups who may get together for yoga. It's a nice small space for yoga. There's I believe there's some meditation group that uses it, and it's often we have small meetings there, like the hall building committee meets in there fairly often. Every other month to 6 weeks, and other small groups like that, groups of up to 10 people are easily accommodated in there and use it, especially in the winter because you can heat it. The hall itself is a very large building.
Right. So and my understanding, I mean, my use of the hall, it's the easiest room to heat in the winter for something short, right? If you can fit it in there, you do. If you can't fit it in there, you have to get there earlier and heat the whole building. So
that's correct. Yes. Correct. Oh, and when we have the elections, because it's also used as the polling station, oftentimes the meeting room can be closed off because most elections tend to be in colder times of the year. And so we can actually have the actual polling booths right in the meeting room, and it's a warmer space.
That's great. Thank you very much for that. Are there any other questions? Director Lennox.
Chair, just quickly, I think it might be more for you, but I'm wondering how we get this kind of work done for 15 grand. Because that seems like a pretty good deal to me, so.
Yeah, well, I'll try to address it when it comes to our meeting, but we have Ms. Auerbach here. I'll let her explain how the hall committee figures they can do anything for this amount of money. So.
Can't believe it. Yeah.
Well, it is a fairly small space. What is it? It's something like 20 by, it's not 20 by 10, so it's probably 20 by 8. Okay. And as I say, the volunteer labor component is always free. We really get, and if we ever need to use a machine, that's usually the machine operators are willing to help us out. And then we have a small amount of materials on site right now because we did some tree falling and lumber milling on site. So we have some materials such as for making the girders and the posts and items like that.
I suspected as much. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, thanks. So lots of donated time, donated materials, but yeah, it is amazing. You know, a modest budget for a project like that. So I don't see any other hands up. So I thank you, Ms. Auerbach. We'll consider the request at a future meeting, and that was very good to hear from you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to do this.
Okay, our fifth delegation is Joyce Carlson, Qathet Festival of Performing Arts. And it looks like Ms. Carlson's in the audience. So when you get to the delegations table, the floor is yours for 10 minutes, and then we'll ask some questions.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to present to the regional district. My name is Joyce Carlson, as you've been told, and I'm here on behalf of our chair, Mel Monroe, who's not available to attend. And we have a short video to show you. This is a video that was prepared for a presentation last year to the City of Powell River Council. So there's like a little bit of math that needs to be done, but it just gives some history of the festival.
Dwight Hall was the venue for the first Powell River Music Festival in 1945, and this February, the 81st event will take place. The festival is the oldest continuing cultural event in the area. Thousands of feet have crossed the festival stages over the past decades, from kindergarten performers to seniors, all of them sharing their love of performing arts with appreciative audiences. In addition, so many teachers have shared their passion with those performers, and parents have encouraged and supported their youngsters. After its beginnings, the festival received a name change from Music Festival to Festival of the Performing Arts, and another name change occurred from Powell River to Qathet, in the spirit of reconciliation. It now takes place in 3 venues: James Hall at Powell River Academy of Music, Max Cameron Theatre at Brooks Secondary School, and Evergreen Theatre at the Powell River Recreation Complex. Former Mayor Stuart Alsgaard, as a young boy, participated in piano at the first ever festival in 1945, and as a teenager in subsequent years with his high school band. Canadian astronaut Robert Thirsk once played piano in the festival, as did renowned pianist Don Thompson. While there was one adjudicator for all disciplines in 1945, there is now an adjudicator for each. A group of community volunteers organized the festival until the Knights of Pythias and the Pythian Sisters took over that task. When the Pythian organizations were not able to continue, a group of festival supporters carried on until 2003, when the women issued a call for assistance from the community. That call was answered by the Rotary Club of Powell River. Members took on the task of leading the organizing committee and have been assisted ever since by community volunteers who understood the workings of the festival. Organizing committee members include Rotarians and community volunteers for the event that features performers in piano, strings, vocal and choral, speech arts, dance, as well as band and instrumental. Not knowing much about music, Rotarians applied the 4-way test, which guides the international organization of 133,000 clubs and more than 1.3 million members around the world. Service above self is its motto, and members undertake a multitude of community and international projects. All regular sessions of the festival are open to the public and free of charge, with donations gratefully accepted to assist with expenses. Each festival concludes with a grand concert that shows samples of all of the disciplines. Some performers are recommended to attend the annual Performing Arts BC Provincial Festival, which this community hosted in 1997 and 2015. Many performers in the festival have gone on to make a living performing or teaching, continuing to follow their passion for performing arts. The committee is grateful to the Qathet Arts Council, the City of Powell River, Qathet School District 47, and Qathet Regional District for their continuing financial and in-kind support for this impactful festival.
That tells you a little bit about the history. So it has been continuously operating since 1945, even through COVID. We held our grand concert on March 8th, 2020, and the world shut down on March 12th. So in 2021, we held it virtually. So all of the competitions were videoed, and those videos were sent to adjudicators from Toronto and all, throughout Canada. And we were back full on in 2022. So, and even me and perhaps Rob, I performed at a festival of performing arts when I was a student at Cranberry Lake Elementary School. So it has a deep history in the community. And as was mentioned, the women who were looking after it couldn't do it anymore. And they came to a number of community organizations, and they came to Rotary, and we said we would consider it. I took it to the club. I was president at the time. It's not very democratic, but the vote was 25-23 not to do it. I said I didn't care. We're doing it anyway. And I ended up chairing the committee for 21 years. Which was joyful. So as mentioned, at one point, most of the organizing committee was made up of Rotarians who knew nothing about syllabuses or music or anything. We just knew we can organize things. And so now it's flipped again, and we're bringing on new members, and it's changed now to majority community members. And our festival is based on the fundamental idea of providing all participants with the best possible support for their artistic development. And we're strongly committed to the philosophy that performance is a vital opportunity to learn and pursue excellence. In 2026, a total of 1,200 people from kindergarten to seniors were registered. We had 120 volunteer spots that were filled by members of the community, committee members, and Rotarians. They are greeters, ushers, door guardians, large school group marshalers, which we used to call wranglers, but some people didn't like that. But if you've ever been around by the kids, 300 or 400 kids descend on the Evergreen Theater, you understand. But marshalers apparently it's a better term. They're also ticket takers and sellers for the grand concert. And our organizing committee has been extremely grateful for the generous support of Qathet Regional District for many years. So we're here asking for more money, and I just want to explain some things why. Like, we are asking for $3,000 a year, and for not this year because we have the 750, so it would only be 2,250. So we for our registration system, it's, if you saw the syllabus, that word that not everybody knows the meaning of, but there's a lot of different places where people enter the festival in those 6 categories. But within those categories, there are multiple categories, and registration needs to be taken and money taken in and the whole schedule done. And we contracted with a company named Solaris, who was very good for several years. And then out of the blue, it dissolved, it went away. It had a lot of festivals connected to it, and it couldn't continue. And we tried to extract our data, and our data wasn't available. So we had to like rebuild everything from nothing. And so that was quite the chore. And other things have happened too. As in everything, our costs have increased over the past 3 years, and that whole Solaris thing really had an impact on us, because like a lot of organizations, we tried to keep money aside so that if something happened, we would still be able to continue. But so there's increases in venues, adjudicators, travel costs, like there's been an increase. So we have a paid person. We're very lucky to have this paid person, and we really, the festival organizing committee runs from like September to March and then disappears, and so we pay somebody on an hourly rate to help. And we're looking at becoming a registered society so that there are more opportunities for us to bring money in, because basically now it's the people that were up there support us, and also the fees that people pay to enter it. So you have the full application for you to pursue. And once again, we're very appreciative of the support that we've had, and we want to tell you how happy we are with that support. And I'm happy to answer any questions. And there we go, 3 seconds.
Most excellent. Thank you very much. And with the video and everything.
In public speaking contests, and you had to be within 5 or 7 years.
Right on the bell. So are there any questions for Ms. Carlson from around the table? I don't see any. I think it seems like a really great organization, and we've talked about it. We funded it over the years. So well, thank you very much for coming before us and presenting that. We'll take it into consideration when this comes up at our upcoming meetings. Okay, thank you very much.
I know it's always difficult to make decisions, so it's appreciated.
So our item, the representative or the delegate for item 3.6 isn't with us, if I understand correctly. So we'll move on to item 3.7, which is delegation 3.7, which is Mac Fraser, community coordinator. Everybody deserves a smile, and I believe Mr. Fraser is coming before us to the front. The floor is yours, Mr. Fraser. You have 10 minutes, and then we may very well have some questions for you.
Thank you very much, Chair Falls. Nice to see everyone today. Thank you for allowing this delegation. I've sat before you for a number of times. We've been doing this for 7 years. I think it's fair to say the board knows, but everybody deserves a smile. But today I brought something special, a product. Drew Boyd has been involved with Everybody Deserves a Smile since she was in grade 2, and now she's in grade 8. And I'm going to give you just a bit of mechanics, and then Drew's going to tell you what she's learned, because you deserve to see what the outcome is of your financial investment. So start off with thanks for the 7 years you've allowed us to operate and provided us financial assistance. The purpose of Everybody Deserves a Smile is a nonprofit organization and community program that through education instills a sense of empathy and understanding to break down the barriers faced by community members who are vulnerable and experiencing economic, health, and housing challenges. How we teach our children is how society will act. The educational component, the program achieves its objectives through an extensive educational component for elementary school students and an associated assembly and distribution of kindness bags with warm clothing, cookies, and a handwritten note from the students and vulnerable community members. It's very easy to look at what we do and just see kindness bags on it. But the educational component is perhaps even more important, because it will instill a lifelong objective in people. The kindness bags, get into the mechanics, in 2025, 516 bags were distributed through the Cadet region, including Texada and the Kahama Nation. So I come to you with good news and bad news. The bad news is we still need to produce the bags. There's still a large number of vulnerable people in the community who need our help. But the good news is it's not growing exponentially as it did initially. We did 100 bags the first year. We went through 200, 300, 400. We're looking to do $5.50 this year, and that seems to be filling the need. The cost per bag has changed. The cost now is approximately $37, and the total budget for 2025 was $19,775, with $7,800 of contributions in kind from the community. The 2026 budget is $20,100 and is enclosed in the application for your information. So we're not seeing a big rise, but inflation is hitting everybody. In 2026, we are looking to produce 550 kindness bags, continue to develop a financially sustainable framework through increased community awareness of the project and associated donations, and thereby reduce dependency on charities or grants for augmenting the budget. I've sat before you previously and said, we would like to have some money now, but we're working to asking you for less as the future goes on. And we're going to account for the impact of inflation. So this year, we're asking for financial assistance of $1,500, which is down from the $2,500 we asked for previously and gladly received from you. EDS Qathet has moved towards greater financial sustainability in the past 2 years by adding to its reserve funds to improve project cash flow. The EDS Qathet Reserve Fund is currently at $16,000, which is $4,000 more than 2025 and has resulted in a lower request for funding. So as I said, the need is still there. That's not good news, but we're getting greater contributions directly from the community. We had a lull. You heard Joyce talk about the impact of pandemic. We had a lull in giving through the pandemic. It appears to be close to back to previous levels, which we're quite excited about. And the establishment of a donated articles reserve has also been successful and be further developed in the next few years. So thank you very much. Now, more excitingly, Drew is going to tell you what she's learned in being part of EDAS.
I've been with EDIS for 7 years. When it first came, my mom and my family helped out, and they continue to. I've learned a lot through it. I feel like you can't get a better feeling than when you read one of the letters that we get saying that this is the only Christmas present some people get. This year I've taken on a bigger role with it, and I helped co-present the kickoff assembly for all the schools this year. Today I was telling one of my friends that I was coming, and she said, I love doing that in elementary. She really wished she could still do it. So it really shows how much the people who are involved have felt and how much they loved it.
Thank you very much. Chair, back to you.
Well, thank you both for your presentations. That was very heartfelt to hear. I would like to ask if anyone around the table has any questions. Director Lennox, go ahead.
Thanks, Chair. You sort of answered it. I mean, I was wondering, like, you seem to be getting a fair commitment from probably retailers and others in the community, but $1,500 for cookies, or is there any, has that been escalating, or you said it's plateaued now and we just have to keep kind of chipping away at that, or is everybody thinks everything's escalating, right?
Yeah. We probably peaked in what we would ask you for. I think in the last 2 years we asked for $2,500. We're quite excited that we're getting more in-kind donations to reduce the cost. Okay. So there are still some expenses, but we have a wonderful support from the community. EDAS defines who needs to get bags through 11 existing support agencies, and we have about the same number of commercial and nonprofit supporters. As an example, fire departments help us distribute the bags to the support agencies. We start with phone calls out to 11 support agencies in September, and they give us numbers, and we go from there and produce it. So it's very involved. It's wonderfully getting to be old hat. Yeah. It's like, oh, it's that time of year. Of course, we're going to support. Yeah. We have excellent support, and I have to shout out the number one supporter. It's not so obvious. Is School District 47. They cover all the staff expenses. The curriculum has been changed and continues to evolve, and they do the educational component completely. So they are a huge partner to us.
Great. Well, I have one question. I don't see anyone else's hands up, and I'll try to avoid pontificating because that's not the point of this. Of course, I'll just preface it by saying, it'd be nice to have such an event or organization on Lasqueti in areas that aren't served. So, question I have is, as I understand EDAS there's the qathet EDAS, and then there's a bit of a parent organization, or I shouldn't say a bit of a, there's a parent organization. What role does that parent organization have to help facilitate? I mean, your organization seems pretty self-organized. So how much does that bigger organization, EDAS Canada, does it help you do what you do?
We are largely independent. We're the second biggest chapter, the Comox Valley being the first. The EDAS mothership, as we call it, in the Comox Valley, distributes in Campbell River, Nanaimo, Red Deer, Vancouver Lower East Side. So it provides support to us, but I think it's fair to say in 7 years, we've grown to the part that we're not really drawing very much from it. So we have had discussions in the past. We need to advance them more about reaching down to Lasqueti. But as I just said, School District 47 is a big part of our project. We need to advance it in a different school system on Lasqueti.
Right. Yes, of course, it's Qualicum. Okay, well, thank you for that. And that's bigger discussions. And I was just told I missed Director Southcott had a question, so I will pass it to him.
Thank you, Chair. I'm really familiar with the specifics of the program, and I remember initially, having worked with in the past with disadvantaged populations and understanding how powerful kindness is. But then I didn't initially grasp how impactful it is for the providers, and especially younger people. But I really get that now. And it's been important to me. I've worked with youth for a long, long time in various venues. I'm just wondering if, is there any analogous or anything that carries on through Brooks and like older age groups that has anything like connected? I know EDAS is very specific, but is there anything happening at Brooks that sort of might be?
In Brooks, we have the Interact Club. They volunteer and they help with bagging day.
Oh, great.
And then also the culinary program at Brooks helps make the cookies. They make all the cookies. It's a very big project. They have the entire kitchen filled with cookies by the end of it.
Good day to be around.
It's no small task. The Culinary Arts Department makes 2,000 cookies. We have many people who decorate them, and I can tell you Director Brander decorates a good cookie.
Great news. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Is there any other question? I don't see any hands up, so thank you for the presentation, both of you, and we look forward to discussing your request. Okay, our agenda says that we had a scheduled break, but I'm going to suggest that we carry on. We've had a canceled delegation, we carry on, and I've been told the food that I can't participate in isn't there yet. So we'll carry on probably for another half an hour unless someone is really urgently needing a break. So for time sensitivity. Okay. Oh.
It's okay, Chair.
Oh. Okay, so we just had a quick
okay
break.
She's in the room.
She's still
oh, she's in the room. Okay, so right. So we'll go on to the number delegate 3.8, Niky Lister, president of the Powell River Therapeutic Riding Association. Ms. Lister, the floor is yours for presentation, 10 minutes, and we'll then have some questions.
Hi. I was just told I'd come here, maybe answer some questions. It's a little more formal than what I thought. I was getting really nervous.
There's no requirement for a formal presentation. You don't even have to say anything, but if you want to tell us something, you got 10 minutes, up to 10 minutes. And if you tell us whatever you feel we need to know.
Yeah, so we're celebrating 35 years in the community this year. The organization started as a physiotherapist talking with a horse person sitting around a table having tea, say we need to get horses and people together and make this happen. And the horse community pulled together and brought the horses up the road and say, here, use my horse for a lesson. And that's kind of how it started. Now we're at the Paradise Exhibition Park. We have a barn. We have paddocks. We have a track system. If you want to get into horses, knowing what's happening, we've created a natural movement for them. We have our big indoor arena, and we are servicing up to 70 students a year. But everyone wants to touch a horse, and everyone wants to spend time with horses. So we need to expand. Doesn't matter if you go on Facebook, someone's asking, where are the horse lessons? Where can my kid touch a horse? Where can my 3-year-old touch a horse? They need to do that. And as people that serve the community, people that are horse people, we understand that impact that horses have on our students, and we want to just grow and expand. So we have done a lot of work. We've been in the past really struggled to find qualified instructors. They have to be what's called Cantra certified. So we this year have hired 3 instructors that we've been working really hard at getting certified, and they're going for testing at the end of June. So that moves us from 1 instructor to 4, which means we can expand our program. Now our main instructor is going on maternity leave, but that's okay because she'll be back. We're unique that we actually have an in-house horse trainer as well. This work is hard on our horses. More traditionally, it was physiotherapy, but now we're seeing a lot of students with ADHD and autism that need the emotional regulation that the horse gives them. Horses will match your heartbeat. So if you get on a horse and you're really excitable and you can't settle, the horse will bring you down. And that's what we're seeing happening all the time, but that's hard on the horse. I've watched horses back out of the arena and say, no, thank you, not today. That's too much for me. So we respect that in the horse, but we also do things on their off time to give them the opportunity to, we call it filling their bucket, so they can go in and do the class and not be depleted. So in turn, we have a herd that's really happy and healthy. Our vet bills are down, our farrier bills are down. They're able to do a little bit more. They only work 2 classes a day because that's all that they can handle. Having that horse trainer fill their buckets back up and do the right things with them and train our trainers, our volunteer horse handlers, to speak the same language with the horse all the time. This always means go, this always means stop. This also help them be healthier, and in turn they're safer for our students. So we have a basic program that what you would think of therapeutic riding. The kids come, or the adults come, and they get on, they do some stretching, they follow some direction, moving their body, they go out for a trail ride, stuff like that. But we've also extended into this year having vaulting program. So we bought this big, beautiful horse from Alberta for our program because larger people need a bigger horse. And he was expensive, and we were very excited to have him. He hates the program. So to respect the horse, what can we do with him? We're going to lose money. We can't do that. And he's a beautiful horse. So we created a vaulting program. So our horse trainer and instructor got certified as vaulting instructors. This horse loves vaulting. So he gets lunged around in a circle, and the kids get put up, and they basically do gymnastics on the horse. It is very good for their bodies. If you've ever heard of hippotherapy, physiotherapists and stuff do that. They have to be certified to that. We can't do that. But the moves are all very similar. And again, the kids get all this confidence, body movement. They get to express themselves, and they work in as a team. So it's an inclusive team. And we have 6 vaulters this year, and we're looking to expand to a 2nd day next year, and that horse is loving it. So we found the horse a good job, and we put 6 more kids together that we could pull off a wait list. All of our students currently have to be referred to us through a doctor. That's our mandate with our program. So that's how that works. We are also looking at expanding what's called EAL, so equine assisted learning. So it's personal development coaching, leadership programs using the horse. And again, some of that can be done as a group, and some of that can be done individual. A lot of facilities work with first responders, anyone suffering with PTSD. people going through addiction, stuff like that. So that's another area that we're looking to expand upon. And it gets more people touching horses. Yeah. So I don't know what else to tell you. If you have any questions, I could go forever, but it's a passion for sure.
Thank you very much. That was very interesting information. Is there anyone who has questions? Director Lennox, go ahead.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks, Nikki, for your presentation. I have a lot of sweat up there at the grounds from my past.
Yes. You look close.
Yeah, so I'm just looking, so a good rundown here. It's really part of your overall programming to try to achieve the goal. And you got a whole bunch of ambitious goals.
Yeah.
And a total budget of just under 400,000, right? So
yeah.
It's quite an operation now. So you're asking for 17, I think.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to be clear about that, and it looks like you're getting a lot of work done with that money. So
yeah,
I want to make sure.
Yeah, we're a nonprofit plus a charity, so there are certain things we can do and certain things we can't do. What I think we're seeing in the community, the local donations are down. I know everyone saved the Kings, as my personal business saved the Kings. That was a goal in the community to do that. And this spring we had our family day on May 23rd, and we do t-shirts for all our riders. We put sponsors on the back, and a lot of people were tapped out this year. We really felt that. And then a lot of our out of town foundations are now, they have so many requests that they're only helping you every other year. So we're seeing that happening as well. And we're trying to keep it all affordable, right? We don't want to price people out of the service that they need. Autism funding has changed. I think we're going to be okay because our coaches are certified. So they'll still be able to access the autism funding to be able to come to our facility. But it's expensive. We've had horses 10 years. A ton of hay was $425. Now it's $1,000. Even buying local, it's still.
Glad I'm not buying it now.
I know. I have it's expensive. We are very fortunate in our community. We only own 3 horses at Therapeutic Running. We have 8. So we have free leases. We take advantage of that. There could be a horse. There's a beautiful horse. She's one of the best horses we have. She was living in Wildwood, not doing a lot because they're busy doing other things. So she comes and lives with us. Their kids come and visit their horse or have a lesson, and she stays with us. Now she has a job. So she has purpose, and we have most of our horses. That's how we have them now. We used to own them all. It doesn't make sense because when they get tired of doing their job, we have to sell them or move them along. And this way we can just give them back to their family. And maybe they'll come back in a couple of years if they're refreshed. I don't know. But I think the training we're doing is helping them as well, so they don't get burnt out the job that they do. And we are doing summer camps. This will be our 3rd year doing summer camps. So we're reaching more kids that way. 8 kids a week for 6 weeks this year.
Sure, it's full.
Well, registration started today. There's some people in the room whose grandson is on the list. I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's full. It should be full. Yeah. Usually our wait list is pretty long. Yeah.
Yeah, Director Southcott.
Well, thank you. Very exciting for me to hear that you're thinking of moving into trauma therapeutic work. I heard a statistic today that 25% of Canadians have some form of what we call PTSD, but I prefer to call stress-related illness effects, because have been very aware over years of the greatly increasing need in our society. So I'm just wondering if you could speak just a little more on that, like when is this expected, and might there be even the possibility of relationships with other providing organizations that provide like referrals? One thing I'm aware of is that different people require different or benefit from different approaches, and it's really a vast range.
Yeah, so I actually went away in February for a week and did my EAL training. So I'm a certified EAL personal development coach. I made a promise to myself I wouldn't do anything new for 6 months. People in the room that might know me know I run a business in town. It takes a lot of my work. Therapeutic riding is a passion for me. It takes a lot of work. I told my husband I won't do anything new. This horse was literally on the island. I had 5 people send it to me, and I'm like, but I said I wouldn't do anything new. I'll go in November. And my husband said, you just need to go. was at a facility that I knew and I was comfortable with, and I went, and thank goodness I went. Changed my life really in the direction of where I'm going in my life by going through that. I have a lot of empathy for people. I think I consider myself a people person and the ability to listen and understand. And I was paired with a young girl who had lost her husband very tragically. She'd never spoken to anyone really about it. Oh, I'm gonna lose time. Can't tell you the story. Anyways, I'll sneak in that yes, I'm gonna start in the fall. I'm gonna offer to some of our kids a leadership program pro bono, just to get my feet wet, and then we're gonna reach out. The big thing that I want to do. And I was gonna do it at home on my own, but let's do it there. We have the horses that are ready to go, and we have the connections. Yeah, and after 35 years, we have the reputation, so I can do that. So yeah, it's a huge part of my next chapter of my life. Yeah. I didn't pass the test that Joyce passed. Sorry.
Pretty close. No, don't worry at all. Thank you for presenting to us. That was very good, and we thank you for coming before the board here. Okay, on to our next one. I don't believe the food's arrived, so we'll carry on. We have Delegate 3.9. That's Cathy Brown, President of the Texada Island Nonprofit Senior Housing Society, or affectionately known as Tinches. Is Ms. Brown attending virtually, I believe?
I am.
Yes. Okay. So the floor is yours, or the screen is yours for 10 minutes, and then we may have some questions for you, Ms. Brown. Go ahead.
Thank you kindly. I'm going to be invisible today just because of a little computer slowdown here, and I have sadly no awesome presentation visually. So what I'll do is I'll just thank everybody today, other delegates and the board, for listening. I'm happy to be able to share that the latest progress on the Texada Island Nonprofit Seniors Housing Society project. It began as community vision back in 2019. It's rapidly transforming into a reality. We have successfully navigated several major regulatory milestones. I'm here to present another step in our roadmap for making a 3.2 hectare parcel shovel ready for affordable seniors housing. With the help of the QRD's dedicated staff, both the planning department and the staff within finance and other office assistants, we have overcome some significant hurdles. The first was excluding the land of the agricultural land reserve from the agricultural land reserve, and very recently the fence and buffer plan. That was compiled by Tinches and was forwarded to the QRD planning department for their review and subsequently having it submitted to the Agricultural Land Commission. We've been informed that the conditions of the preliminary layout review have been satisfied after Vancouver Coastal Health has made a critical concession for us. Their concern in subdivision, as you're probably well aware, is to ensure that the wastewater is disposed of safely, and with larger developments, it becomes an even more critical step for the long-term viability of projects. They've agreed to a blanket covenant, which is allowing us to defer detailed wastewater engineering, the schematics, until the building stage. It means that we can establish the land title and transfer the parcel sooner than waiting on expensive premature infrastructure designs. Our timeline for the 2026 project is strategic. Selkirk remains the owner until the title transfer, but they are willing to work with us before it's transferred. We're moving into phase 2 civil engineering design, establishing the final schematics of the footprint for the housing project. That is this spring and early summer. This summer, roughly August, we have the technical site evaluations that will flag the footprint, following immediately by logging. In the fall, which will be September, November, we will move into site grubbing, fence erection, and a comprehensive fire smart evaluation to guarantee long-term wildfire resilience. By December, we anticipate the final subdivision completion and the official title transfer, finally. In the spring of 2027, we will strategically plant the buffer for the fence with appropriate fire smart and native plants where it's lacking adequate coverage. Our total budget projected sits at $252,552. We want to highlight the incredible generosity of our partner, Selkirk Mountain Forest Limited, who is providing a massive in-kind land donation of $134,000, which represents 80% of the land value, as well as this summer, $5,000 in logging services. The $25,000 QRD social planning grant we're seeking is highly targeted. It'll directly fund the critical technical work that matching funds won't cover. $10,000 to further the civil engineering phase 2 that will take into account the possibility for more units on the site plan in the future. $5,000 for site grubbing and the remainder across legal fees, professional tree surveys, fire smart assessments, and administration. Every dollar is being leveraged to maximize the asset value. Ultimately, this phase de-risks the site, making us highly attractive to major provincial and federal capital partners when they come back. And hopefully this whole project will move smoothly forward in the coming years. Thank you, and I welcome any questions and appreciate your listening.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. That was good to hear from you. I see Director McCormick has her hand up.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Ms. Brown, kudos to you and your group for taking this from nowhere to the very, very long distance that you've come. So I'm just so amazed at the wonderful work that you've done so far, and you're just really getting started. So my question is about the plan for the future, and I think you touched on this, that the initial plan is for 40 units, but there is an opportunity for growth down the road. How would that work?
Actually, our original hope of having 40 units was pulled back by the BC Housing when we were approaching them for funding initially. We were told flat out that no one was going to fund us for 40 units. So they told us to rescale 20 units and that this would be something that they would most likely look a little more favorable upon. The expansion in the future would bring it up to the 40 units. And it's been a benefit to actually draw back to 20 because it's meant that we can have a regular septic field for 20 units and then add in a second septic field for another 20 units rather than having to have a wastewater treatment plant, which would carry the whole 40 units.
That makes sense. No, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other questions from the committee? I don't see any. Well, thank you very much, Ms. Brown, for the presentation. We'll be discussing the request at a future meeting.
Thank you for your consideration.
Okay, so unless I don't see that our food's arrived, so I haven't got a note yet. So we'll go on to our
Seated on food.
Not that it benefits me whatsoever. Our 10th delegation, well, our 9th delegation, 3.10, 3.10, Joan Miller, Executive Director, Island North Film Commission. Go ahead, Ms. Miller. You have 10 minutes, and then we'll have some questions.
Great, thanks. Well, I hope the food doesn't come while I'm doing my presentation.
We'll take a break in between presentations, so no worries at all.
I know what it's like. Food comes first. So thank you very much. I'd like to thank you, Chair Fall, and your committee, and all your great staff. The staff has been awesome to work with. They always have been, and they continue to be that way. I also want to recognize all these great delegates. I'm always listening to them, and so I don't know, gobsmacked by the great work they do. I have 6 regional districts I have to do this with, and I'm always like, wow. I walk away and think we have the greatest communities that we live in. I want to spend my time, and I want to ask if I could have a little 31-second extension. We have a video that we created for the province last year that for profiling the work that we did, and a lot of it was in the Qathet area. So if you have consideration of less questions and listen to our video, I think a lot of them will be answered. So please, staff, if you go ahead with the video, I'd appreciate it.
In 2022, the Island North Film Commission received a $520,000 economic diversification grant. The purpose of the grant was to help grow BC's motion picture industry within the region. The investment is already paying off.
We're very proud of the successes of the funding that we've had. We've been able to show real impact and real effect coming from government funding.
Oh, this looks great.
The Commission's mandate is to assist producers in finding locations, offer local crews, and help with the appropriate permissions and permits. One recent success story is Eden Express, a domestic production which spent 6 weeks filming in the Powell River area.
We had cast a pretty wide net on where we are looking for a location, and then we did eventually end up here in Powell River, and the Vancouver Island North Film Commission were quite instrumental in helping us find some locations here.
Productions like this one have a large impact on local economies.
When a production comes to town and we see them begin to fill the hotels, they go out for dinner, they're using restaurants, they're going out and using coffee shops after. They'll rent all the different things they require. It is a direct economic impact to that community.
We try to hire as many locals as we can, definitely in production assistants and obviously in background performers. We even have some actors that we were able to hire locally, construction, scenic, drivers, security. So yeah, we've been able to hire a lot of folks locally, which is really amazing.
But the impacts are also cultural.
There's nothing like seeing your town, seeing your street on the big screen. It's a source of pride, and I think we have wonderful communities, we have caring people. If I was a filmmaker, I'd want to film here.
The community has completely embraced us too. Everywhere we go, we're always like, do you need more BG, or are you the film people? And I saw your trucks and I saw your signs. And yeah, the community seems to have really embraced us. So we're very fortunate to be here.
The Film Commission also received funding through Island Coastal Economic Trust. The Trust's Investment Readiness Program allowed InFilm to greatly expand an important resource within their operation, their library of available film locations.
To date, we have about 4,000 files, rising from the original 2,000 we had. A lot of those 4,000 were also updates of older files. We have productions that are coming because of our scouting, because of our location kits.
12 photographers in 6 regional districts went far and wide to expand the database.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was one of the best jobs I've ever had. At first they said, oh, can you do about 150 locations? And I thought, oh my gosh, how am I going to do 150 locations?
Location scouting on Vancouver Island is ideal. We have majestic mountain ranges, trails, old growth forests. We have derelict old buildings, warehouses. We have vintage, beautiful homes. We have it all on Vancouver Island. It really is an idyllic spot to film at.
The Vancouver Island North Film Commission was really supportive of us, helping us find location scouts, taking us to some locations, providing a locations package to us, which is, it's a huge cost savings for us.
Equally as important was capturing the island's diverse scenery from high above. The REDUP funding also allowed for the purchase of a drone, as well as hiring drone operators to inventory more than 100 locations from the air.
They're game changers. We've heard from Creative BC, the Provincial Film Commission, how much they love the files and how they're getting into it now. Film is a technology-based industry, and like most technology-based industries, there are slow advances and big hops. The drone videos will be a big hop, and they really allow producers to identify what they're shooting. And as drone use becomes more and more prevalent in filmmaking, it just makes sense to augment the scouting with it.
Showcasing Port Alberni's McLean Mill in this way tripled the amount of time the producers of 1 Mile and One More Mile spent there.
And they were here for 2 months working while they shot not just one part of one, but almost the entirety of a sequel movie.
They had an aerial layout of the mill, as well as inside the machinery and the buildings. It allowed them almost a 360 of the location, so they're better able to block out their shooting in their mind.
Extra days obviously results in extra revenue for the venue and the community.
Now they're looking for other opportunities within the environment and within the community, and that was pretty amazing.
Hi. Don't mind me.
A byproduct of the Location Scout funding is that a handful of photographers secured temporary opportunities with productions shooting in the region.
The locations manager for the Eden Express contacted me and asked me if I could go scouting again. So I did that a couple of weekends.
Location scouting is a fun job. It does involve a lot of creativity, outside the box thinking. What can look like this that could be paired with this, for example?
A large portion of the funding also went for the purchase of a 3-ton truck and trailer, as well as 2 smaller units, all filled with industry essential equipment.
The trailer close to me is a 9-foot utility trailer, and that'll be used to carry location equipment, our volt stack batteries, just a general runaround kind of trailer to augment our 3-ton truck. That's actually out on a production right now. Our other trailer, the one farther behind me, is a 14-foot multi-use trailer. We purchased it kitted out as a mobile first aid room and prep office. Inside there's shelving, a pull-down Murphy bed, and it is running off deep cycle marine batteries. It can be put out into the woods to prep a film location off-grid, and it can be kept there for weeks.
The Commission was also able to purchase 4 battery-operated volt stack generators to be utilized by visiting productions.
This handy little tool should be in almost anyone's arsenal, I think. It's a portable power bank called a volt stack. You get 5 kilowatts of energy, nice and silent, and environmentally friendly. There's no emissions.
The quiet operation of the generators allows them to be used close to the filming, eliminating any undesirable noise, which is a problem with conventional generators.
Well, the drawbacks is when it comes to sound, I mean, they can hear a mosquito fart, it seems like. So the further away you can be with anything that doesn't sound like what they're talking about on set, the better. So having something close by without having to run an abundance of cable is influential for sure.
The truck, trailers, and generators are being used to make it more affordable for producers to travel to and shoot in the region.
The idea behind these are an additional soft incentive for local producers, emerging productions, and independent. They're to offset the cost of renting equipment and then transporting it from Vancouver over the ferry up to the North Island.
It's another truck that has to come across on ferries and to service, and the generators and like, you know, having electric generators instead of gas is also a savings. So no, I would highly recommend it to anyone. Anyone can call me. Any producer that wants to do it can call me. I'm happy to talk about it.
Having a locations kit for a series, you know, that could be a run of show, could be upwards of a $100,000 rental. And so being able to provide that on loan to productions, it's a very powerful draw, and the feedback we have had is very, very positive.
The location equipment will also be used for training local individuals hoping to be future film workers.
The film industry always needs new workers, always needs to train new people. Tent up an inch and then pull it out. Since we've purchased our location kit and truck, we've been to Gibson's, Port Alberni, training on site there. Those are 2 examples.
Drone images, location files, loanable equipment, and vehicle purchases were all made possible thanks to the generous contributions of the Rural Economic Diversification and Infrastructure Program. Together with the Vancouver Island North Film Commission, they're drawing future productions and investment.
We have productions that are coming because of our scouting, because of our location kits. We're finding, and the productions are finding, the communities are outstanding. We have beautiful locations, we have wonderful incentives, but our main attraction is the people.
I would say that Vancouver Island is like no other place on this planet. The opportunities here are immense. And the great thing about it, for the most part, is that it's relatively undiscovered. And that means right now that there are deals to be had.
This area has a lot of what looks like untouched nature, you know. It's a lot easier to film something when you don't have like 2,500 people sitting on the beach. You literally have like 10 that might want to go there that day. It's easier to close down a location.
And I believe the opportunities are here because we have the space, we have the views, we have the buildings. And we have a lot more crew here now than we ever did. That's been a hindrance in the past, not having enough crew. We have a lot more crew here now, and we have a lot more opportunity in the future.
I'm very proud of our communities. I'm very proud of the industry that has come here and developed, of how diversified we are now, that we've been able to bring this sector into our communities and really noticeably now. And it's with pride that we look forward to what we can do now that we've been putting all our tools in place.
So there you go. I'm happy to answer questions because I know we've taken up a lot of time, but it was a big thing to do for 4 years, was to do all of that. And we have people working in your community right now. In fact, I was reaching out to Astra, who you saw, to do a couple projects today. Our crews are working. People are moving to our area that are skilled because our communities are fabulous. So, the regions of BC right now are doing much better than the lower mainland. People are going out to the regions, domestic industry is growing. So things are looking bright for us. So thank you very much, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, great. Thank you, Miller. Is there any questions of Director Isaacson?
Thank you, Chair. Through the chair to Ms. Miller, I'm wondering about local employment as it relates to some of your work and how you encourage it. For example, I'm trying to remember which production that was shot in the qathet region, but I think there was someone from the island working as a scout, and I suspect they would have been working for the production and not you, but I don't know for sure. And the location scout was from the island and seeking, connections locally, and I feel like there's so many people locally who do work in film production that could have been an asset directly, and so I'm wondering about how some of the work that you're doing and that this small piece of funding would be attributed towards would also support local employment more directly when suitable.
Oh, well, thank you for the question. Well, Astra Bullock that you saw interviewed there 3 times is from Powell River. So we trained her. She's part of that. What we did with the part of our funding was to reach out to each one of the 6, actually 7 regional districts. We hired local photographers. We put them through training courses, and then we sent them out to photograph. So we shot 2,000 new images, new location files, which may be 60 images per file throughout our whole region. So when you heard Astra go, oh God, they asked me to do 150 locations, that was her in Powell River covering you. So again, we've reached out to ensure that we have hired and trained people that live in each one of the regional districts that we're funded through. And so instead of production now having to send someone over from the island, sometimes production will pay to send a scout in. Because we're not for profit, we are now able to redirect those productions to the local people to be the ones they hire, because they know what they're doing now. They know how to upload into our system, which is a industry system that you have to have permission and training to be able to get into. So that's what we did to ensure that we aren't sending someone from Vancouver Island over to upper or lower Sunshine Coast. We also did training for crew that we advertised through all of the employment centers. So we did have people from the qathet regional district that took our grip lighting PA courses, of which we 100% funded. I wrote over $1.5 million worth of funding grants for training over 4 years, and we trained over 450 people, fully trained them to industry specs to get into the unions, and covered all their expenses. So we've been working really hard trying to build the capacity locally so they don't have to bring so many people over. And when you heard one of the scouts from Port Alberni talking about that, I mean, it's made a huge difference. So we're now seeing back to back projects coming in where they're hiring local crew, or not 100% local crew, because we haven't been able to get into camera and some of those technical things. But when it comes to production systems, grips, lighting, set construction, carpentry, all of the types of trades where people have skills in another sector that we could upskill and train them in so that they can jump from one industry to the other when work is there. We're doing our best to provide those kind of skills, tuition free, to help them find work when work comes to their area.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions from the committee? I don't see any, so I'll thank you, Ms. Miller, for presenting and for showing us the film. relax.
Very
Thanks for
much.
coming before us.
Appreciate it. And we appreciate the support we've had from you for the last few years.
Director Southcott had a question, Chair.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. My apologies, Director Southcott. I think
I gotta get more of a
for some reason in the
fluorescent
background,
light.
I don't see it always.
Yeah.
So we do have
Yeah.
one question from Director Southcott.
See, difficult. Yeah, quick question. Having some, in a previous lifetime, having contact with the film industry in Vancouver when I worked down there, I became aware of what a huge economic impact the industry had, and also that it's low impact as far as environmentally, et cetera. So it's a high benefit industry. That was my impression. This region is absolutely looking for economic opportunity, and the two just really fit together in my mind. Your grant request is not very big. I'm really this area, knowing that we've had 4 feature films filmed here already, and we don't have the mill making noise anymore to camper that, which was a problem in the past. I understood from previously. Your video doesn't really hardly even mention economic benefit to the regions that you're working in, and I'm just wondering if that is an oversight or if there's a plan to feature that more, or what your thinking might be on that.
Well, thank you for that question. Well, it was difficult because that particular video was made to report back to that particular fund, and they were looking at how did we invest the money in what we applied for, which was purchasing equipment that we could loan in order to attract production out. So that's a soft incentive on top of the incentives that government gives to film outside. Also, the training that we did and to reshoot all our locations. Yeah. What we do day to day takes weeks and weeks and weeks to report out on because we get such little bits of funding from so many different places. So you're always trying to target it to what that funding was. So a project like Eden Express, their economic impact report came back at about $2.5 million spent directly in the qathet area. But for that particular year, 2025, I think we did $28 million. So we're talking Port Alberni had Lower Mid Island had 2 feature films. The Tofino had 2 feature films and a TV series. It's the difficult part of what I do is that everybody that we get a little piece of funding from wants us to tell us what we did in their area. And then I have to go over top and do a big one for the province. So it's sometimes really hard to break it all apart because some want to hear the big picture, some want to know all the economic, and then some want to know what did their $3,000 get them for an investment in their own area. So it is something that we've struggled with, not only our area, but the regions of BC. And we're really trying to, in a lot of meetings recently with the provincial government, to try and get them to recognize there has to be more communication, be the provincial government's investment in this as an industry that can help diversify more than just Vancouver, but is really helping diversify the regions and the rural regions in areas where they said this will never happen. And they need to talk, we need to get them, we're trying to push the province to talk to regional districts. So it's not me in front of a grant and aid program where I feel really bad because there's these amazing groups that need the money. We're sitting at the wrong venue to talk about economic development. And so, yeah, we've struggled. We've been left on our own for like 28 years to kind of grow it. And so we've passionately been growing it. And now they're recognizing the impact is really huge, not only in our area, but Okanagan, the island and the Okanagan have really grown their film industry. But we're missing that piece where we have all of the different levels of government sitting at one table to understand what the importance of this sector, like forestry or like mining or anything, is tourism to their area, and not just leave it up to us to try and continue to have to do these 3-minute presentations, or you've got 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes to tell this group what it is you do and how good it is. So it's been a challenge, and yes, it's been a challenge, and it's one we're working on, and one we're hoping the province will help us work collaboratively with, so the messaging can be flowing from local government to regional government to provincial government, so they see the impact of it as an investment in an industry that benefits all. Don't know if that makes any sense, but sorry.
Chair, thank you very much for your answer. What it tells me is that this is a far larger conversation to pursue what I am interested in seeing happen in our region. So
Well, we would love
really
to,
appreciate
sorry,
your
we'd
answer.
love to
Thank
have
you.
that conversation with you at the right time. But it's hard to do it when it's a 5 minute, give your overall and then answer a few questions. So yes, having people that are interested in looking at how we can expand this and collaboratively leverage all levels of government to create, this industry as a viable industry in every rural and regional area of the province is really important to all of us that do our job.
Thank you very much, and thank you for presenting to our committee.
Well, thank you.
Okay, with that, we'll take a 10-minute break, and those in the room can enjoy the fine food that has been delivered, and those who are not in the room will go forage. And
Thank you,
10 minutes,
Chair.
is that what we said, Corporate
How
Officer?
about we return at 3 o'clock?
Sounds perfect.
See you then.
For those who have presented already, the
Recording in progress.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. It's 3:01, almost 3:02. We'll carry on with our delegations, and item 3.11 is delegation by Russell Brewer, Qathet Tourism Society. Mr. Brewer, you have 10 minutes, and you're attending virtually, so the screen is yours, and then maybe we'll ask questions.
Great, thank you very much. And just a quick check, you can hear me all right? Excellent.
I can.
Great, well, thank you very much, Chair and Committee, for letting all these nonprofits, ourselves included, have an opportunity to present. It's much appreciated, and I'll try and keep it a little bit briefer than my time allotted, because I know you've got quite a few here yet to get through. So I'm representing Qathet Tourism Society. I'm the president for the board, and we've been established in place about 33 years now, first established in 1993. And just thought it'd be helpful to walk through who's actually on our board. Many of them have been serving for a long time. We've got Christy Mitchell, Ann Nelson, Jock McLaughlin, Nina Musalam, Eagle Waltz, Keith Lawton, Peter Harvey, Jerry Childress, Melanie Hansen, and Matt McDowell. And of course, we have 3 ex officios, Councillor Almeida from the city, Director McCormick from the QRD, and Kelly Keel from the Chamber of Commerce is on our board as well. And we've also got 3 staff at present, Jenny Allen Taves, Emily Fahey, and Holly Brack, as well as some volunteers that have been supporting the Tourism Society for quite a long time, including Mike Leahy, who is coming on 20 years now. He's been a volunteer for the society, just loves doing it. And many of our board members have been there quite a long time as well. They come from a variety of backgrounds. They're all quite committed to the tourism sector and supporting tourism in the region. And we also have Pat and Othello, who are also volunteers for us. So maybe a bit of a walk through what the Tourism Society does. We operate the visitor center, obviously, and provide visitor information services in partnership with the city, the QRD, Destination BC, as well as other organizations throughout the region. So we provide visitor information services 12 months a year for the region as a whole. We promote the region as a tourism destination. We support local businesses upon request and when appropriate with local marketing programs created by local businesses, and collect stats for research purposes. We also collect stats on visitors to the area, and that's something we share with the city, the RD, and Destination BC and other partners as appropriate. We help coordinate local events and training for local businesses, including Destination BC approved courses. And we work collaboratively as much as we can with other tourism related regional boards, committees, businesses, associations, quite a few of them actually that are presenting here today as well to the committee. And our request is pretty much outlined. I'll just read what's in there. I know there's a lot of material in your agenda, but I'll read a little section of it. The funds, as in past years, are intended to be used to support staff at the visitor center, particularly through the high season in the summer here, but also into the shoulder seasons. So later into the fall and then all the way through to May. And that helps us support the busiest months of the year, but also helps transition into the shoulder season so that we've got smooth operations at the visitor center. Throughout the off season, a significant portion of the funds are dedicated to staff. And this includes covering salaries, of course, and other operational expenses essential for the smooth operation of our center. Maintaining year-round operations allows the center to consistently support both visitors and locals alike, while promoting local attractions and amenities, and arguably contributing to the overall economic health and cultural vitality of the region. It's always surprising to me. I've heard the argument made several times, well, in this era of online presence and apps and such, do we really need physical spaces? I'm always surprised anytime I stop in there to sign checks or check in with staff or do things, how long a visit it becomes just because there's so many people actually coming through the door. There's lots of folks that still like to stop by visitor centers to get some local information, local flavor that they may not get elsewhere or just through online presence. Additionally, funds will be used to help support staff attending events throughout the region, also covering expenses such as mileage, promotional materials, and any participation fees. So that's it in a nutshell, committee, and happy, of course, to take any questions you may have for about our application.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brewer. Are there questions from the committee? Director Lennox.
Yeah, thanks, Chair, and thanks for your presentation. I'm trying to think back. Every board meeting we do a director's report, and I think it was Director McCormick. You mentioned that she's involved and is following the ongoing activities of your group, and I think I took a note there thinking about it that you said there was 2 students for 8 weeks focused on area events in the region and other activities, I'm sure. And of course, up in Area A, we're looking for those area activities around Savory and other places. And so I'm just wondering, my question is, if this application were to be unsuccessful or a reduced amount, is it fair to say that would impact those abilities to get out in the community? I think I'm assuming you'd be able to cover the office, because you got to cover the office, but it would impact your outreach. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, through the chair, that's correct, Director Lennox. It would impact how often we would be able to get out and impact the hours that we'd be able to maintain the visitor center open. So there'd have to be a balance struck between, I think the priority would still be, because it's the focus of the board to get more of the folks out to those events throughout the region, throughout the year. That's been something we've heard from different organizations and representatives. So likely we would balance some of the hours. We'd maintain the visitor center open in order to allow students and employees to get out to those events.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from the committee? I have one question for you, Mr. Brewer, which is about the, I guess, the off season and the shoulder season. Is it the case that there's been an increase enough to warrant having more staff resources, or is it that the goal is to have that increase? So what's the balance between, is it already happened, or is it something that tourism's trying to do?
That's a great question. It's a bit of both. So I think it's fair to say, the other partner in the region, Sunshine Coast Tourism, they're the destination marketing organization for the upper and lower Sunshine Coast. They've done a great job of marketing the region as a whole. And in a recent report, they shared that we're starting to see a lift in those shoulder season numbers and room stays and such. So we're seeing that too, just with visitors to the visitor center. So it's a bit of a function of the good work they're doing. We're definitely anecdotally, and the numbers show it, there's more people coming in the shoulder season, hence the need for more visitor information services in the shoulder seasons as well, which is great. I think we're starting to see definitely more folks coming earlier and coming later than perhaps we have over the last decade or two, for sure.
Great, thank you. Are there any other questions? I'm looking to see I don't miss anyone in the room. Director McCormick.
Thank you, or not in the room as the case
or
may
not.
be. Thank you for your presentation, Russ. I really enjoy being part of the qathet tourism discussion because they're really forward-thinking. And so my question is about kind of waving the flag a little bit more. Will these positions enable qathet tourism to get the name out there and to increase the opportunities to promote the local businesses in Lund, or Texada, or, Sultry Bay, as the case may be?
Yeah, very much so, Director McCormick. I think it'll allow us to have tourism cultural ambassadors, if you will, getting out to those events more, sharing information, going where the people are at, not necessarily being in a brick and mortar building waiting for the people to come to the visitor center. That's the intent, very much so.
Makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't see any other hands up, so thank you for presenting before us, and we will consider this at a future meeting.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay, our next item, 3.12, is Delegate Doreen Fraser, Community Coordinator, Powell River United Church. And I believe Ms. Fraser's in the room coming to us before. So thank you very much for presenting to the committee. You have 10 minutes and then we may ask questions.
I'm Doe Fraser. I sit on the board of the Powell River United Church as the Fishes and Loaves ministry. I work closely with our local outreach ministry, which is led by Cynthia Layton. The Powell River United Church has served pasta meals by donation in the qathet region for 25 years. But coming out of COVID, we as a congregation looked inside and said, what can we do to meet our mission of serving love? And out of that came local outreach. We just saw a need inside our community, and we thought perhaps in some way we could bridge things that were happening. So we said, well, what is it we have to offer? So what we had to offer is the building, which we're privileged to have reduction of costs and things. And we felt serving with love was opening that building up. We had a community kitchen. We also had a program, pasta dinners, which had not run since pandemic. So we said, what can we do to make that work? Like everyone, our volunteers had fallen off. Our contacts had changed, but we started to rebuild. So over 2 years, we came back with 1 meal a month, down from our 4 meals a month. And during that time, this magical thing happened. A group called Circle of Friends. It's a grassroots movement. It's probably 60 to 70% non-members of the congregation, but members of the community who care. Those who wanted to help us reach out and give us depth of ability to move forward. So at the end of the second year, our outreach ministry came forward and said, we have an opportunity. The United Church of Canada will provide a provision grant for up to 3 years for us to do what we want to do. And, hit the wall running if you're going to hit the wall, they say. So we decided to jump in, and we put in a proposal that we would provide not 1 meal, but 2 meals a week, one for seniors and one for our regular meetings, with no charge. As well, we wanted to offer an opportunity for those who were struggling to get back into the workforce for whatever reason, those who are living with intellectual disabilities, to find a place where they could come and work and feel and grow community. There was a small honorarium involved in this program. We have helped people with food safe. We've had people come together and become a community. We have one family that have taken it to the point where they provide 1 meal a month through press for about 30 to 40 people all on their own. And this young man, when he got his first honorarium from us, said how pleased he was because he'd always wanted to earn a paycheck. So we thought, okay, there's success in that program for us. So that's was born the Community Provision Food Program. It's been exciting, at times challenging. This action of radical love and acceptance when opening our doors for all with no cost has built a community. It has built this place where people come and they say hi to people they didn't know before. They join in, they look for people who are going to be there. And this other thing that happened that we did not expect is we have seen the bridging of perspectives. We have seen people sitting at tables who would never have connected, who had never been exposed to each other, and then talk about what they had learned, how they had changed, not always, but willing to talk because you're breaking bread and talking to each other. It is really something to see this happen. This year we've served approximately 7,000 meals. We intentionally expanded our local outreach. We developed a working relationship with Lyft Services. who delivered for us 40 meals a week. Those living in an encampment or those who are unable to come into the building and take nourishment at our table. We also delivered a minimum of 30 meals a week to the meal train who served with the support, thankfully, of qathet Coalition to End Homelessness. We dug deep to make sure we weren't duplicating because we wanted to ensure that what we were providing was going to be needed. So we connected with the Jerry Gray Center, the Cranberry Center, the City of Powell River, who offers a monthly meal for seniors. So we developed a senior program that meets on Thursday. And following that program, which started at 11 members and we shared 58 last Thursday, we have what's called Projects Half Done, or we affectionately call it PhD. And they can stay, and we have a cafe, and they do. And, you know, not always a lot, but those who stay have grown to connect with each other, and you see their loneliness lifting a little bit. So it's been very rewarding. The growing number of guests at our dinners and luncheons indicate we are filling a need in our community for not only providing food, but building a safe space for all to be welcomed. Our volunteers come in, they participate, but we're always taught to and presented that this is serving with love opportunity, and that this acceptance of where people are, where they're at, how they're going to be met, so that they're not going to feel judged as they come through the door is an important part of our program. We have partnered with, we work with Work BC through press, immigration services. And last week I was contacted by the brain injury because they have people who would like to come and work in our program with the honorarium, so they can build this community. They've heard good things about it. So we do provide meals. The volunteers, which is the Circle of Friend community, has grown, and it's almost renewed my faith in what's happening in town, that there are people who just genuinely don't know what to do, and they feel this is a place to put it. And the inclusion and acceptance of our space has been something that we have indicated, and we grow from that. We do offer our building at no charge for those who come and seek it in an area that we see as supporting community outreach. The United Church of Canada seeded us with a grant at 2025-26 for $45,000, with a possibility of 2 more years if we could demonstrate that there was some more support in our community moving forward. So we're reaching out currently with a request for $3,000 to demonstrate such an action in our community.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. I will see if anyone around the table has a question for you. Don't see any hands up, but that was very good information. That was a nice presentation. Thank you for coming before us. And we'll be considering the request at a finance committee meeting in a few weeks, probably.
What's if we go
okay,
dinner?
So item 3.13, if I'm on track here, 3.13, Leslie Sutherland, Powell River Child, Youth and Family Services Society, the Orca Bus. Welcome before us, Ms. Sutherland. You have 10 minutes and we may ask questions or may not. It depends on what the committee wants. But thank you.
Hi, good to see you. All right, so I'm with the Orca Bus. My name is Leslie Sutherland. I'm the coordinator of the early years programs at Youth and Family and the facilitator of the Orca Bus. So the Orca Bus stands for On the Road with Children's Activities. As many of you already know, the bus is a beautiful 2019 converted Bluebird school bus. And we make stops throughout the QRD, providing early years outreach programs for children ages 0 to 8 and their families. So the primary goal of the Orca Bus, we reach families who may not have access to early years programming due to location and other barriers. We connect all the We try to connect all qathet families to health and community services in a relaxed and safe environment. But above all, if anybody has been on the Orca bus, it's a place for little ones to explore, to discover, to play, to have fun, to make friends, and for their caregivers to take a break and sit down and connect with other parents. Anybody who has parented 24/7, baby or multiple children under the age of 6, we all know how imperative and rejuvenating it is to just talk and laugh with other grown-ups. The Orca bus, we made 54 stops this year. The Orca had 754 children, 325 parents, and 28 service providers visit, a total of 1,107 visitors. We visit the entire qathet regional district with stops at Northside Community Center in Lund, Sandpipers Playgroup and Shelter Point on Texada, Cla'aman Nation, the CDRC, as well as Cla'aman Beach, Palm Beach, as well as municipal parks, central locations such as the library, the airport, the hospital, as well as community events such as the Francophone Festival and the Santa Claus Parade. I'm also a great believer in collaboration. We have so many early years resources within this community, and when we work all together, it simply means we can reach more families. This past year, the Orca has collaborated with the Powell River Public Library with 4 visits and participation in their story time. We have collaborated with Strong Start Go with the school district. We have participated in the Play and Connect events through the school district. And on the bus, we host a community of professionals through Coastal Health, through Inclusion, and the qathet Child Care Resource and Referral. So we have people on board the bus who just kind of casually end up coming on the bus and talking to people. I also love a good theme. This last April, we had a farm and garden tour month where I scheduled bus trips to all different farms and garden centers. So we went to Blueberry Commons, we went to Terra Nostra Farm and the garden centers. And in each of those locations, I had a co-facilitator outside potting plants and working with the kids. So we had indoor and outdoor activities. And it was really lovely. And they also got a tour of these local farms, which I think is really important for little people to see. So our attendance has been fantastic and growing. Many families, especially during this last garden and farm month, follow our online calendar and attended every location. They just would go online and find out where we were going to be and then show up. I'm very grateful for our communications lead, Alice Ward Cameron, who creates our ongoing calendar. So we have a calendar that's online that you post, and she posts on Facebook all the time. And we have these lovely QR codes where people can just automatically find our calendar and find out where we're going to be. So that is Alice, and she's amazing. I'm also very grateful for we have 3 regular volunteer bus drivers who make the trips possible. The Orca bus drivers contributed 182.5 volunteer hours, 75% of which were in the QRD. And we are looking for new drivers. So if anybody has a wild dream to drive a bus, we are looking for drivers. The Orca bus provides a safe space for children to play and discover, and for parents and caregivers to just take a breath and connect with other parents and connect with the services that they may need. The first 5 years of a child's life are a critical window of rapid brain development, bonding, and foundational learning. It is such an honor for me to facilitate the Orca Bus program with youth and family and support these families with young children during this time. So important. So thank you very much. That's all I have. Thank you for your support, and thank you for considering our application.
Thank you for your presentation. I will look around the room to see who may or may not have a question about the Orca bus, which we're all well aware of. We've seen, talked about Orca bus for quite a while, many years. Does anyone have a question for Ms. Sutherland? I don't see any hands up, but we will be considering everything you said and the application at our upcoming Finance Committee meeting.
Thank you.
Next one. So thank you. That's really useful, and thank you for coming before the committee here.
Well, you're welcome. Thanks very much.
Okay, 3.14 is Erica Reimer, Studio Coordinator, Texada Arts, Culture, and Tourism Society, regarding the Texada Pottery Studio, attending virtually. If Ms. Reimer is online, then let's see. Yeah, oh, there she is. Ms. Reimer, it's great. So you have 10 minutes to present to us, and then we can ask questions.
Oh, hi. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. I can.
Okay.
Anyways.
Hi. Thanks for inviting us to make this presentation. So I think you've got our application in front of you. I don't think I'll take your full 10 minutes because I wasn't really prepared to make a presentation. I thought I was just answering some questions, but I am happy to provide a little bit of information on what we're requesting. So I don't know if anybody's aware of the Texada Island Pottery Studio. So it's located in the basement of the school. We are a facility that runs under the Texada Arts and Culture and Tourism Society on the island. So they are the Society Act under which we operate. We have, I believe, around 20 active members at this point. We've had about 40 total users in the past year. We've been operating since 2019 in different kind of capacities. So right now our project is that we're trying to do is expand our wheels, our pottery throwing wheels. So right now we have 3 current wheels. We've purchased 1 more for 4, and we're looking to add another to our studio. So we have recently done a fundraiser at the Texada Home and Gardens. We were able to collect, I think, just over $1,000 there. I'm not too sure if that's gross or net yet. So we're hoping with this remaining contribution that we'd be able to purchase the final wheel and then offer some more in the way of wheel throwing classes for both members and maybe at some point students of the school if they're at that capacity.
Great. Thank you very much. Do we have any questions from the committee? And I see Director McCormick.
Thank you. And thank you, Erica, for your presentation. Will you be open more days a week with the additional wheels and the capacity increases, obviously, each time you're open, but with more people comes more demand, and then it becomes a bit of a snowball. So are you intending to open additional days?
We can. We've had more openings per week previously, but we just didn't find that we had enough people coming. So yeah, of course. I mean, it could mean that we have more of a rationale for opening more than we currently do right now. We're Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for open studio time. But yeah, I don't think that we have the volunteer base there that's interested in opening the space. So yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll just mention, and this is not really a question, but the Lasqueti Island, the Lasqueti Island Arts Council is building a pottery studio on Lasqueti, so maybe there's a future opportunity for connections between the 2 guilds.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Guilds. So I don't know when it'll be open, but it's coming up. The building's getting finished, and they won't have that many wheels, but they'll have, I think, 3 or something.
Awesome.
Okay, so I don't see any other hands up, so I will thank you for coming before us and presenting, and we'll consider the application when at a future meeting.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks for having me here.
So item 315, Gary Schilling, Executive Director, Qathet Film Society, and if Mr. Schilling looks like he's in the audience, so thank you for coming before us, and the floor is yours for 10 minutes, and then we'll have an opportunity for questions.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, directors. I figure digestion is just kind of happening right now for those lunches, and everyone's no one's doing any kind of snoozing, so we're all still good. I always appreciate an opportunity to speak. I'm more of a off-the-cuff speaker type person than writing it on paper. You've got my paper in front of you, and I've been leading the Film Society since 2014. We're a charitable nonprofit with education as our core mandate. As owners of the Patricia Theater, we provide year-round entertainment to the community. And as a film society, we have 4 major events that we do through the year. The International Film Festival that we do in March, the 3 Years Indigenous Film Festival that we do in September, National Canadian Film Day, which happens in April, and our youth camp, which is coming up in August, and what I'm here to talk to you about. It's our 14th year of our film camp. Each year we take in 30 students, and we believe actually it's been shown that there is a strong connection between media literacy and mental health, self-confidence, and good community relations. And anyone who's paying attention to what's going on in the world, media literacy becomes more and more important in the world. And so the camp, I think, is a tremendous opportunity for students for campers, who are students mostly, to learn what it's like to collaborate, what it's like to tell a story, what it's like to work as a team and make media. So the camp not only provides a place for the youth to get together, but it's also an opportunity for our film professionals to mentor youth, stretch their skills. We have 5 mentors, local filmmakers who will work with us this summer, all confirmed, and they're assisted by production assistants who are often recent graduates from high school. Some of them have attended our film camp in the past, and they move on to develop their skills. The camp culminates in a screening at the Patricia, where the kids get to see their films on the big screen. Community comes out to watch those films, and they also get a chance to present their films and get a sense of what that means. Each year we give a theme to our film camp. This year's theme asks the question, what's your idea of a perfect world? And they often amaze us in the things that they come up with. I hesitate to bring video to play here because I've noticed video plays terrible in this room. So I encourage you to go to our website, qathetfilm.ca, under the youth tab. We've just opened our applications for the film camp for this year, and we have sample videos from the previous years. It's really a joy to see them come alive in this process. Funding for the film camp is already confirmed. We've got the City of Powell River funding us through the Arts Council, and the PR Community Foundation has supported us. We're still waiting on our primary funder, BC Gaming. The film camp will go ahead with or without funding, and it will continue to be free. We don't get funding, it just stretches our resources, the amount of base funding that we have. My comfort zone, lessons and my grant writing, which gets increases, but I hope that you will consider us. I appreciate the funding that we've had in the past and support that we've had for our film festival and for our film camp. And that's really about it for me. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you very much. I will look around the room, see if anyone might have a question. Director Southcott. I saw you this time.
Sure. Dramatic. Love working with young people, particularly encouraging critical thinking. I would imagine that's an interest of yours too, personally, but how does that come into the film camp in terms of the work?
Well, the film camp begins with exercises where they get together and figure out what working together means and what thinking together means. And I think by critical thinking, everyone's a critic, but I think thinking as a group and supporting each other in the thought process. And if you've ever been involved in brainstorming, which is a good part of the beginning, there's a there's a general rule that no ideas are bad and that everything must be considered, and how to work together to come up with something that they can all embrace. That's important for the process, and I think it's also important for just existing in the world today. So it's not quite critical thinking necessarily, but it's critically important to the process of dialogue, I think, which is really what I think the film camp's about.
Oh, sounds like critical thinking to me. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from around the table? I don't see any, so I'll thank you for sticking it out to near the end of the meeting and presenting to us in person, and we'll take your application and comments into consideration when it comes before us.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay, we have a late delegation. We'll call it 3.16, which is Rob Tisdall, Powell River Salmon Society, and I understand Rob's in the room. So Rob, when you're ready, yeah, you can present for 10 minutes, and then we may have some questions for you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us here today. I didn't know if I was going to make it or not, but I'm here. So we've had another good year with the Salmon Society. We're able to make our collections eggs in the fall, and we got some extra eggs from the island for the spring salmon as well. So we had a good egg take and good survival. And I had a little handout. I don't know if you got this or not. Did you get one? Yeah, so it explains how many salmon we let go this last month. 349,000 spring salmon, 368,000 chum salmon, and 229 fin clipped coho. We're very proud of that because for 2 years in a row now we've been clipping our coho, and yeah, so we're pretty happy with that. Anyhow, what we're requesting this year are funds to do normal replacements for some of our equipment or some of our water measuring equipment that we have. We're really fortunate to have scientific information on our watershed going back to the 1990s with the program that conducted. There's 3 of us involved. There's the community forest, and there's the fisheries with the Salmon Society, and who else is involved in that one? City. So, anyways, we get all of our water information every year. So we're replacing some equipment there and doing some work around Lang Bay. An operation that we have at Lang Bay where we have lots of school kids coming out, and so we're putting in better walkways and getting rid of some danger trees, things of that nature, and just some normal maintenance that we're doing at Lang Bay. After 2 years, we've had 2 years of construction work that have been going on. This spring, we've done some work out at Duck Lake for fixing up the roofs and storage shed out there. And the year before, we did a major $160,000 project of adding on more room at the end of the building. And now we have actually have a boardroom now that we can sit down and talk about this. Anyways, so with those things out of the way, now we're looking at just doing some fiddling up, keeping things shipshape. So we're here to ask for some help. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And we do have your application in the FYI section. It was attached to the agenda, so we've seen the application. in fact, of all groups that have applied, including those that weren't officially on the registered delegation. So thank you. I see Director Gisborne has a question.
Thank you, Chair. I have a question, and it's a little similar to one I think I asked many years ago. Taking a look at the Statement of Revenues and Expenditures, and under Revenues it shows Government of Canada, Department of Fisheries and Oceans 2024 at 213,000, and then 2025 244,000, and I can't remember what year it was, but I asked about increasing the funding from DFO, and I had heard at the time that DFO had not done any increase in funding in several decades. But seeing that it looks like there is an increase in funding, is that like a one-off thing to go from 213 to 244? I don't have the previous year budgets in front of me, or is DFO going to continue to increase their support in finances, or have I misread something here?
It'll be back to 188, is it, that they normally get every year from? But there was some funds that they kicked in. I thought it was around $40,000 that they had kicked in extra, and that's a one-off, and we're not able to depend upon that anymore. We're still expecting our $188,000 that we've been getting since 1982.
Yeah, that seems to be the number I recall, and it just baffles my mind that the number is essentially unchanged since before I was born. That they've kind of kept it the same. So I really wish the federal government would take, they say they take fisheries seriously, and then they kind of freeze the funding for longer than I've been alive. Thank you. That's my question.
Yeah.
Thank you, Director Lennox.
Sure, thanks for coming and seeing us. I think I understand the project and appreciate you, especially taking care of danger trees and things like that with all of our little ones going to the salmon races, as we call it. I guess my question is more focused on, I was able to do some clipping this year, which is amazing, at the Powell River hatchery, and I'm just wondering, is that, you mentioned that sort of we've been doing better the last little while in clipping and releasing last couple of years. Is there anything that we can do to support that as well? Because, those fish are important to be clipped, so we know what, what's heading out there and what's returning.
Right.
So do we need to kind of support that in any way or push anybody?
The machines are expensive if you want to get a machine. So you're talking
like a counting machine, right?
They actually do the clipping. They have machines that do the clipping, and there are two machines that the fisheries have. And one is portable, that's on a truck that they drive it around, but they have a hard time getting on the ferry. And the other one is stationary, but I don't know where they're keeping that, or what they're doing with that right now. Unless we're able to find ourselves $1 million somewhere, or several million to buy a machine, we're going to be doing it by hand. Yeah.
I'll be there next year. Thanks.
Well, thanks. Great.
It was amazing.
Great community efforts to help us out. Yeah.
Thank you. Before I see if anyone else has questions, I see Director Gisborne has a second question, so I will recognize Director Gisborne. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair, and I forgot to ask another question. When I took a look at your application, it says, which area does your initiative benefit? And I only see a check mark for Area B. And as I understood, your organization and the grant kind of benefits the greater region because, of course, the fish do end up out in the ocean where we all like to fish it. So is your ask that the funding come from just Area B, or is your ask to come from like a broader subset of taxpayers? Because Area B doesn't typically have a lot of money.
Oh. I don't know. Yeah. Wherever the most of the money is. I wish I had filled out the form so I could answer your question.
Yeah, well, maybe I could rephrase the question to be more constructive, or be constructive for our deliberations. Would the benefit from this only benefit the people from Area B, or would it benefit people from the broader regional district? That should be an easy question,
does.
but
Yeah, well, area, you'll have to inform me about what is Area B. Exactly.
Oh, I'm sorry. So right, so Area B is basically the area just south of the city boundary.
To Wayland Road, so it doesn't even get to the hatchery. It's Wayland Road,
Oh,
Paradise Valley, Myrtle Rocks
right.
to the city.
We're speaking to the broad regional district. Yes.
Yeah, that's what we all, I think, all
Yes,
expected.
there
I
certainly are
think it doesn't.
dedicated.
I mean, even if the fish are coming from a river from a particular area of the regional district, they go out in the ocean and.
Yeah, we try to catch them on their way past London, so.
Yeah. They don't get back there. So anyways, yes, I think that just addresses this. It's more of a technical thing we'll be discussing when the application comes to the board, because where Director Gisborne's getting at is if it was funding just from Area B, we may not have the funding. Okay, so
we do know that Siaman is they're even asking now about putting up nets down that way, so they'd even be helped by the fish, the work that we do, because there's going to be a fishery out of Lang Creek somewhere along the line, it sounds like. So we'll have to keep raising that.
And that's an Area C if you want to get the letters. But so south of Area B. But thank you for delegating to us in person. We have the application. We'll be considering it at a future Finance Committee meeting.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks everyone who's delegated. To all delegates, I think let's just get to my agenda here. I don't believe, are there any other late delegations? I don't think so. So corporate officer?
No, I was just going to say we haven't had any communications to that effect, Chair, so we're okay to
Okay, excellent. So question period.
Hello, Chair. Galinsky from the Peak here. I am wondering through you to the General Manager of Financial Administration what the total budget for grants and aid is with the QRD.
Okay, is Ms. Greenan on the call here? She is. So Ms. Greenan, would you be able to address that?
Yes, thank you, Chair, through the Chair. The total budget is $264,000 for 2026. And there are some allocations that have already been approved through agreements. So the balance available is $155,719.
I thank the General Manager of Financial Administration for that response. That is for all of 2026, then, the spring and fall allocations?
That's correct.
Those are my questions, Chair. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Galinsky. And unless there's anyone else in the room who has a question, which I don't believe, the chairs now seem quite empty. There's no in-camera agenda. We're adjourned.